Hey guys, welcome to this video. I started recording late and in fact I screwed up with the mic and for whatever reason it wasn't recording. So I'm doing a voiceover, so I'll give you a bit of a larger analysis on this match than I did when I was doing it live and narrating to absolutely no one apparently. Here's the thing, this guy had a double Intimidate team with Lando and Salamence. And I thought that it would be worth taking a look at what would happen if my team that is a more physical or physically oriented team goes against this guy's. If you've watched any of the other videos in my channel, you'll see Copycat Trick Room, so I'm not going to explain it. The long story short here is that I'm explaining an Earthquake from Landorus, and then I'm expecting some move from Salamence. At this time, I didn't know this, but the Salamence was special attack. I think it was going for, I don't know if that's called a Hydro Pump or what, but I was expecting, Salamence to be physically oriented, but it wasn't. So that was just an interesting thing to note. Turn 1, there are no reads to make. There's no priority moves that the opponent has. It's just he's going to try to wipe out Stakataka and try to take me out before I can Trick Room. Unbeknownst to him, I was going to max guard in the first turn. If he went to double Riolu on the first turn, I think I would have been in a little bit of trouble, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the match, and I think you're going to see why as we went through it. So we Copycat Trick Room here, and then we're going to watch an Earthquake and a Max Geyser. It's a very uneventful first turn. Other than Riolu goes down to Sash. Yeah, that poor thing can't handle an Earthquake from anything. Okay, so now it's where it gets interesting. So I have to go for coaching because that's my logical play. I expect another Earthquake. So now the decision I need to make is, am I more scared about the Earthquake or am I more scared about whatever water move that is? And my conclusion was, I think I'm more afraid of the Earthquake because that's 4x, even if the other attack is special. In my mind, I thought that was going to play a larger factor. So I go for a Max Steel Spike. And I knew it wasn't going to do that much. It actually did more than I thought originally. But at the same point, my options were go for a Max Rockfall on Salamence, which is going to do nothing to get that special boost, or go for a Max Steel Spike onto Landorus and just make sure that we get that defensive boost, because he's definitely going to go for an Earthquake again. And I just thought that it was more important to try to survive the Earthquake than it was to survive the water move. Let's see how much this does. Takes us down to 29. I think if we were not +2 defense, I don't think we would have survived that Earthquake, even if I had rocks at the beginning. Would have been nice chip damage on Salamence at that time, but it doesn't matter. To me, that was just the logical way to do it. So then what I thought here is, as I brought in Glastrier, Glastrier should be able to sweep. So what I'm expecting here is you're probably going to take Landorus out. So what I need to do is I'm going to Rockfall into that spot, expecting that you're going to go into something that hopefully this does a lot of damage to. Because I know you're going to want to re-intimidate, and I'm assuming that Glacier should be able to kill Salamence in this turn. But he goes for a Max Guard, obviously knowing that he was in Trick Room, so that was the right play for him. I think he was maybe hoping that I would double on him too, but I obviously didn't. The Rockfall didn't do much though. I was obviously -1 attack at this point. And I effectively have like no health. So we go for the Icicle Crash and it lands empty into that Max Guard. So now what we need to consider here is there's a couple of options. In my team preview, the guy saw that I had a leafeon. So leafeon is, and I actually brought it to the game. So leafeon is easily wipes out by Salamence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to hit an Icicle Crash on that side. because that would also cover the switch. It doesn't matter who he has on the back. Even if it's Tapu Koko, etc., it will do a lot of damage. If it's Landorus, it's going to be a lot of damage. So I just said, screw it. I'm just going to go for Icicle Crash here because it covers my options. And I ultimately ended up going for a Rock Slide because Gyro Ball wasn't going to do anything to Snorlax. I couldn't afford him going for a double Protect. And I couldn't afford to go for a high horsepower in case he swapped the Snorlax for Landorus. So he does end up withdrawing Salamence, which is still fine. So I just couldn't go for a ground move because I needed to cover both options. So this specific play looks like a read if you're not looking at it from a if you're not looking at it without hearing the narration, it might look like, I'm expecting that you're either gonna try to attack or you're gonna try to switch into Landorus for the Intimidate, but it was just the play that best covered the options. So it just came out well. And we're gonna reset that Intimidate, and that Rock Slide was very, very clutch. I really don't know what he was gonna go for, but that was a clutch flinch for sure. That definitely mattered and affected the game. That Rockfall is also affecting because now everything's getting chip damage all over the place. So now I have Leafeon and I still have Salamence on the field, or I still have Salamence on the other side of the field. So what we need to figure out here is, do I want to dig into Tapu Koko, or do I want to go for high horsepower on Tapu Koko? And here's the thing: I was about to make this play, and I was like, well, I could high horsepower, I could close combat, but there is just too much risk of a switch. The logical play on his end is to swap Tapu Koko because we're still in Trick Room. So the logical play is swap out Tapu, bring in Salamence, Intimidate, hope that I went for high horsepower, which I almost did, as you see there. And then I was like, no, it's just too risky of a play, and I need to be able to cover in case he does that. So I kind of read that he was going to switch into Salamence. But at the end of the day, even though it was a read in this specific instance, it was the most logical play and the one that covers the most options. Now, on the Leafeon side, I hit Protect, assuming that Snorlax was going to go for Leafeon, and that was a bad play. I should have just gone for a Leaf Blade on it, and we would have killed it. And that would have just absolutely been matched, because we effectively made the read here. So assuming Icicle Crest doesn't miss, this is effectively the perfect play. So here comes the Icicle Crash, and it lands. There's no way he survives it. Even if we were -1, it's 145 base attack. The Glacier's max attack, and it's a 4x weakness. There was no way. This hit hard, very hard. There are very few attacks that take that much damage of Glastrier. That was a lot, and that was a very, very clutch play on my opponent's end. A very good read disregarding the Leafeon. But now here's the thing. Now Trick Room's over, and Tapu Koko's on the field. I have no Sun, so Leafeon's not faster. But now, what my opponent should do, and what the correct play is going for an electric move on Glastier, because Glastier has an Assault Vest. And I believe that is actually the most common set for him. So there's actually a chance that Dazzling Gleam doesn't kill it. Remember, Tapu Koko doesn't have that high of a special attack. It's more of a physical attacker. But the special moves are better. So I was expecting that he was just going to go for a move on this guy, but he went for the spread move. And it didn't die. And that moment, it was game over. Because you needed to make sure that this guy couldn't hit you. And then he went for Steel Roller, assuming that the horse was going to die. So He was obviously sashed, which didn't matter because if you go back to the beginning of the game, we said that sandstorm, so it didn't matter. It was at the end of the day that was going back and tracing all the way the story to the rockfall. That sandstorm effectively won the match. So now there's nothing that Starlax can do. He just has to quit. There's no way you survive any attack at this point, and that was game over. So it was a fun little set. I enjoyed this match, and it goes to show that you don't need to fear Landorus, you don't need to fear Salamence or any of the intimidating Pokemon. Even if he had Incineroar instead, we could have gone for close combat for high horsepower. There's so many different things that we could have done. Leafeon Dig as well, so it doesn't really matter. It was fun. Hit like, hit subscribe. Make sure leave a comment below as well, and we'll keep posting, and we'll make sure to keep going through these matches and showing you unusual ways of playing Pokemon, and with teams that don't necessarily make the most sense. So hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was fun for you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.